Welcome everyone. So I'm going to be covering Corsola. All right. Corsola was obviously very bad. Suffered from a lot of things. It just was not very bulky, not very strong. Regenerator, I believe, is a hidden ability. So in normal games, you can't even get it. Yeah, it is hidden. You can do some hustle memes, but other than that, it's not great. Especially pre-hustle buffs. Obviously, those regular games don't have the hustle buff, so it can be even worse, especially because Corsola is just not very strong. So I've given it tons of great new, well, most importantly, stat boosts and an amazing new ability in Sap Sipper. So there are, I believe, 8 water rock types. Let me triple check in my notes. I believe, so I actually have all of these notes for old and new Pokemon of different typings, so I can like log which ones are going to be what type, which ones are going to have which abilities, that kind of thing. So I can really ensure that they don't have overlap or that they aren't, outclassing one another. So there are 7 actually, right? Yeah, Corsola, Relicanth, Caracosta, Almastar, Kabutops, Barbaracle, and then a new one. All right, there's one new Water Rock type. That new Water Rock type is a Pokemon with many different forms that changes type. So that's all I'll say. Back on topic. Yeah, Corsola is the only Corsola and then maybe another one are the only mostly defensive ones. Other one being Relicanth, but in terms of what I'm going to be making them into, not that they can't be offensive or that they aren't strong, because they do have pretty solid offensive stats, but overall they are more defensive or utility in nature. While the other ones are also very tanky. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's some with much more bulk than Corsola, but in terms of their abilities and their moves, yeah. So Corsola is already very unique in that, right? In fact, also let me fix this spacing there. It was bugging me. In terms of like just being unique, it is so unique because of the stats, and also again because of Sap Sipper. So the logic for Sap Sipper is kind of spotty. It's not terrible. I think it fits well enough. Given that they are coral, and the dex does say stuff like they absorb nutrients from clean water. There's a couple more dex entries to talk about that kind of stuff. And I'm aware that Sap Sipper technically means herbivore in Japanese, and that it's mostly talking about Pokemon that eat plants. But I can make some exceptions. I think the ability is the name of the ability is kind of generic. So anything, it sips the sap. I don't fucking know. All right, it's kind of a weird ability for it. Logically, it's not the most fitting, but there is stuff talking about like, oh, the seas are filled with nutrition and it purifies the water and it deteriorates in dirty water. And so I think that being immune to grass fits very well for Corsola, because it is coral, and like coral, eats algae, I believe. Pretty sure coral like absorbs nutrients from algae. I'm like 80% sure. I'm too lazy to Google it. Somebody else knows more about coral, then they can comment down below and inform me about coral. I think they might also eat meat weirdly, like not like actually like an enemy or anything, but I think they eat meat technically through like the nutrients. I think they absorb nutrients somehow, but they're weird. They're like living. They're weird ass organisms. But regardless, yeah, Sap Sipper fits well enough, I think, for Pokemon logic. But the main reason is just because of how great it is on it. So it is very unique from the other water rock types, because other water rock types are all very strong or just really bulky in terms of their raw stats. So Corsola, another weird thing. So I ended up giving a 125 in both defenses. If I'm being totally real with you guys, I would have done 115 in both with a 480 base stat total, which is still technically like on par with fully evolved mons in this hack, or at least some. But I was like, you know what, man, fuck it. It's Corsola. It would really appreciate the extra bulk. So I gave it the extra bulk to hit 500 base stat total. So yes, I acknowledge that 125 is kind of high on the higher end for its design. I think 115 was a pretty reasonable number, but I ended up going 125 because it's Corsola and it needs the buffs. So that's awesome. And yeah, Regenerator, Sap Sipper. Okay, so it does have a middling base 65 HP, which is on the lower side. Purely because of how tiny it is. It is a tiny little piece of coral. It's only about 2 foot long and 11 pounds. So HP is based on size on attack. More. Obviously, it's not perfect. I didn't fucking put in some formula to equate the HP stat to their exact size. It's just more of an approximate type deal, because some Pokemon's HP stats were really weird, and I wanted to make it more consistent. So yeah, Corsola does have a middling HP stat, but with an X investment, it's pretty solid. It's not like a bad HP stat. It's just kind of like below average, maybe average at best. But again, it has great 125 on both defenses, and it has a very nice 95 base special attack stat now. So it has plus 30 to all of its important stats essentially, and then the rest of the stats are unchanged. The main buffs here, I mean, those are already huge buffs to begin with, let alone the fact that it has Sap Sipper and a lot of new moves, and it has access to Regenerator by regular means now. So that's incredible. So yeah, Sap Sipper is huge on it. In this hack, you do have access to infinite usability capsules, so you can pretty easily just pick whenever you need which ability. So Sap Sipper is only useful if you need your Corsola to switch in on a grass type move or a grass type, and it can actually hit them super effectively with Icy Wind and Ice Beam and Blizzard, which is pretty cool. That's always fun. And the AI also might be too bad to be able to tell that you are immune, so they might click it anyways, which is pretty cool. I don't think they would do it multiple times, but maybe on the first try they might click a grass move. I'm not positive if the AI can sense the new abilities. I believe it can. I could even test it one day, but nonetheless, there is a lot of really awesome stuff. So yeah, Sap Sip is very useful. Switch it in. You know, you're immune to your 4x weakness. And actually, when you look at water rock typing, while it's immune to grass, it actually has very good resistances. So obviously you have that 4x weakness to grass, but again, as long as you have Sap Sipper, you're immune to that, bar like Mold Breaker and stuff. And of course, there's a lot of battles where Sap Sipper isn't really that useful. You're going to want Regenerator instead. Also, I did consider keeping Hustle because it's funny and because Hustle's buffed, but 6 out of the 8, or 5 out of the 8 water rock types are physical attackers, and the new one is like a Pokemon that is a bunch of Pokemon at once, kind of, so it doesn't really count. So it's mostly just 5 out of the 7 are physical attackers, with Amistar and Corsola being the only exceptions that are special attackers. So I figured just keep Corsola unique. Otherwise, if Corsola was Hustle and I gave it like 60 bits attack, it would be horribly outclassed by all of the other water rock types like Kabutops, Barbaracle, Caracosta, Rarakinth, are all just better attackers than it is, so it's not really worth it. And also Sap Sip is great. Obviously, I would much rather have that than also on Corsola. So yeah, back on topic. Great new bulk, much better special attack stat, lots of cool new moves. Sap Sip is huge, Regenerate is great. You know, getting that 30%, 33. Is Regenerator 1/3 or 30% exactly? I forgot if it's 33 or 30. No, it's 1/3, so it's 33. Yeah, it says 1/3, so it's 33%, which is huge, not just 30. And sometimes Pokemon's weird. Sometimes it's 30%, sometimes it's 33. They're weird with that. Yeah, huge right there. Lots of great new moves. So you do have access to lots of powerful stab moves. One of their best things is actually Diamond Storm and Hydro Cannon, because essentially those moves are now 150 base power moves that drop your special attack stat by 2. So I have tons of new moves. If you are new here, by the way, hi, hello, welcome. You can feel free to access these sheets from the description below, and you can check out all these changes yourself for all the moves and stuff. I've reworked like every move, and they all have all these new effects and changes in power and lots of new moves and custom moves, 28 new abilities, tons of awesome stuff that you can go check out. But in Corsola's case, I did I did give it Diamond Storm, despite the fact that it doesn't really have diamonds on anything, and it's not like a rock type. Mostly because the animation is pink. I actually didn't consider it, but then my friend was like, give it to it. I was like, okay, so I'll give it to him. Mostly because of Regenerator, because what those moves do is, again, they're 150 base power, -2. I'm trying to scroll up to them instead of Control, I think, because I'm lazy. There we go. So here we are. There's a bunch of new variants that work like Draco Meteor, and obviously Diamond Storm and Hydro Cannon are 2 of those. And those are pretty early too at level 60, which is great. And what you can do is you can really take advantage of the high power, and then you can use those once or twice. The second hit is 75 base power, which is it's just not bad at all, given how strong the first hit is. You can kill something off this with the second hit if you don't kill it with the first. And then once you're -2 to -4 special attack, you can always just switch out and get that free Regenerator recovery. Corsola also really likes like Assault Vest sets if you want to run that, like AV, Hydro Cannon plus coverage plus stab, plus, whatever you want to do. You could literally just run Hydro Cannon, Diamond Storm, Assault Vest. You also have tons of great new coverage. So you already have Ice Beam. You also have Blizzard, Hydro Pump. What am I trying to say? Coverage. Yeah, sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place. They did get a lot of weird moves like Psychic and Shadow Ball, so obviously I kept those. So it has Ice Beam, Psychic, Shadow Ball, Giga Drain. So I gave it access to Energy Ball and Giga Drain. I think they fit pretty well given its connection to nature and how like Coral was like really important for the ecosystem and stuff. I think it fits fine. I think it's a cool option. And also they have Sap Sipper, so it's kind of funny that they can now learn grass moves. They already learned Ingrain. That wasn't something I did. Although Ingrain is buffed massively. Ingrain essentially gives you a Calm Mind boost in exchange for -5 speed, and it locks you into the field, and then it heals you residually each turn. So that's a really great new effect for Ingrain. It is also probably a little bit earlier than you'll be getting the Calm Mind TM, or like exactly on par with when you'll be getting the Calm Mind TM. So that's always cool. It's very good for AI too. Why did they just hang up? Okay, that's always great. Sorry, it always fucking throws me off. I gotta tell them. Okay, sorry. I don't even know if you guys can hear that, but the Discord sound effects. Back on topic. I lost my train of thought entirely. Oh well. Yeah, Earth Power, Ice Beam, Psychic, Shadow Ball for coverage, Dazzling Gleam as well. Dazzling Gleam is kind of weird, but I mean they already learned Psychic and Shadow Ball, so why not just give them more special moves? Who cares? They also get access to Weather Ball and Nature Power and Natural Gift. Nature Power plus Camouflage is a really cool tech because Z Camouflage gives you +1 to all your stats, and it learns it very early. Most Omnibus moves are much later, but I gave Camouflage at 35, which is very early for an Omnibus move. So that'll make you very bulky with +1 defenses and very strong with +1 special attack. And then you can essentially guarantee that you turn into basically Camouflage will turn you into the terrain. So like if there's electric terrain up, you'll turn into a pure electric type, get the Omni boost, and then you'll have Nature Power to turn into Thunderbolt, which is a cool little gimmick. You can also do the same thing with Moonblast and Misty Terrain, but it's not that great. And then you already have access to Psychic and Energy Ball, so the other two terrains don't matter. But it's specifically Electric Terrain is a really cool tech you can do. Camouflage plus that. That's always a really cool thing you can take advantage of because you get the +1, then you get the stab, and then you get the terrain boost, so it becomes really strong. And it's pretty early on, so you can definitely take advantage of that. Then you just have regular stuff like Barrier and Amnesia. You have Sediment for recovery instead of Recover because it's just a better version of Recover for rock types because Sediment heals by 2/3 in the sand. And it makes sense given that they are, coral and they live in the ocean and beach and whatever. Mixed near the beach, and so healing with like sediment makes sense. And they are rock type, so yeah. You do have Calm Mind, Iron Defense. It's just a very straightforward mon. The changes are very straightforward in this case. Not that they're bad; they're amazing. I mean, it's a great Pokemon. It's extremely unique in the sense that it is a water rock type with Sap Sipper and good bulk and Regenerator and stuff. So back on topic with the typing, I remember I was talking about that. I got sidetracked, as always. So yeah, you're immune to grass. So you have 1 immunity to grass. You have a 4 times resistance to fire, and you have 4 other resistances, which are 2 times to normal, flying, ice, and poison, which are all very good resistances. And then you only have 3 weaknesses to electric, fighting, and ground with Sap Sipper. So that's really, really solid. It's very unique amongst the water rock types, and it's just unique amongst Pokemon in general. Very good type effectiveness and resistances. So that's really cool. Other stuff, Z-Soak gives +2 special attack. Bubble Burst and Torrential Pulse are 105 base power, 90% accurate moves. Torrential Pulse, a 50% chance to boost all your stats by 1. And then Bubble Burst, always lower speed by 1, which is a better effect because it's consistent. Whirlpool is cool. That's 130 base power, 80% accurate, and traps the opponent for a set amount of turns, which deals residual damage each turn, which is really strong. Diamond Storm Hydro Cannon I already covered. Power Gem is cool. Power Gem is 90 base power and has a 25% chance or 1 in 4 chance to boost your special attack stat, which is great. Yeah, it's really not too much else to cover, honestly. Yeah, that's really. I mean, you have priority with Bubble Shot, which is nice. Water type priority right there. Special. Bubble Barrage is 60 base power overall and drop speed by 3, which can be good utility with Regenerator. All of this stuff is just great with Regenerator. It's a great mon, just really solid and reliable and strong, and it's a great mon. So I hope you enjoyed this one. A little bit on the shorter side because the changes are very straightforward in this case. I could go on for longer about why I chose for Sap Sipper, but I think the logic is sound enough. So I hope that is cool. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll be back for more. So bye. And also, last thing before I actually head off is if you are new here and you did enjoy this video, make sure that you subscribe. If you haven't already, that'd be very helpful for the algorithm and stuff. Helps boost my videos and get them recommended to more people. If you find this kind of change appealing, you can always go to the description and check out all the other ones for yourself, or you can go watch my other videos where I cover them as I complete them. And you can join my Discord server. You can play my other hack in there while this one is being developed. It's not as great, but it's still a very good hack called Bear and Black. You can go check that out and learn about it in Discord server. That's about it. So I'll be back for more, and bye.